Mom Talk Radio, a busy mom's best friend. Now, Maria Bailey on Mom Talk Radio.
Having teens is that time of your life where, I don't know, people try to scare you is actually one of the funnest times for me and my children. And I think having the right empowerment with the right content, the right information is important. So that's why we have Dr. Ann Schiebert with us today. She spent 25 years working with teens, young adults, and families in the area of chemical dependency, codependency, dual diagnosis, and trauma. She has 2 books out in the series. The series is called Let's Make a Contract. And the first 2 books are Let's Make a Contract, Getting Your Teen Through High School and Beyond, and Let's Make a Contract, Getting Your Teen Through Substance Abuse. I want to welcome Dr. Ann Schiebert to Mom Talk Radio. Hi, Ann.
Hi, and thank you so much, Maria, for having me.
So I really appreciate you because I think that we get a whole bunch of information when our kids are babies and toddlers, but then as they get older, somehow either we're not finding the information or the information kind of lags off. So I'm really excited that you've created a series of information. One of the things that you talk about is preemptive parenting. Can you tell me what that means?
I absolutely can. I came up with this idea thinking about toddlers and how we teach our little children, and we do preemptive parenting. We teach them not to touch the hot stove. Mm-hmm. And that seems intuitive to most parents, but as our kids age, we sort of lose that idea for whatever reason. We get busy. We think that children should know what they're supposed to do, which, according to brain development research, is just not true. And right. I think it's so important to get ahead of our kids, to give them a wisdom base with which to make decisions, because they don't have it on their own.
Well, that totally makes sense. It's really interesting. So when you there's moments in the teen years where you think you're doing okay. And I kind of always think about it that like your kid is on a fence and they're riding through their teen years, and every now and then you kind of see them like fall into one side and you got to kind of pull them back up. And I have to tell you, there was moments when I'm like, am I pulling too soon? Am I not pulling enough? How do you know what to do in like allowing them enough rope, but you don't want them to hang themselves, So how do you balance that?
Well, we want to respect them as people, because the minute they feel disrespected and demeaned, they will oftentimes get oppositional. Mm-hmm. So what I have found that's worked in my clinical years really well is getting ahead and discussing possible situations. For example, what would you do if someone offered you a marijuana joint? Mm-hmm. And this is a situation which most teens are faced with. But we want to intervene on it before the offer happens. And then we have a discussion, and we have a value discussion about what our family values are regarding that situation, and we give them a choice in what they would do. It's a conversation. If we find out later that they have disregarded our conversation, then it's time to sit down with them and attempt to devise consequences for making bad decisions. Because we are our kids' life support. And when I say that, we usually think of a hospital apparatus saving lives. We are that. But we are the support through their life. And if we don't help them make good decisions or structure good decisions which lead to their successes, then we're not being their support.
Mm-hmm. So, typically, I would think, like, let's take that scenario. Your child, your son has told you all along, I would say I'm not interested or blah, blah, whatever they say, right? And then the day comes where you discover, oh my gosh, there's a pipe in his room or whatever.
Yes.
Typically, I think the action of a parent would be you take away the car keys, or you react by restricting in some way, whatever it is, restricting their social life, restricting what they have. What is the correct behavior on our part?
So that's like parenting after the fact. And what I like to do is set up a situation in which it becomes the teen's choice. So if the teen knows the consequence before they're faced with making a decision, then it's their choice. And I will give you a true clinical story. This child did go through this with their parents about, okay, what am I going to do if one of my friends offers me a joint? And the parents said, well, that is really against our family values because it will impede your brain development, and we're here to keep you safe. And we know this is going to happen. So after discussing what the teen thought, the parents said, well, if you decide to go ahead and smoke a joint or have a hit off of a joint, then the consequence has to be, and they thought of a really creative one, and it was coming to a recovery group with me to drop in to see what addiction looks like. That'll be what you're choosing. So they created a situation in which it was a success because both ways. It was a success if the teen used their wisdom, and it was a success still if they phrased it so that the teen chose to get more education about the topic.
Oh, I get it. And I see what you're saying about doing it before the behavior.
Exactly. And for a teen especially, and for little kids, the consequence has to be in relationship with the deed. In other words, I can't ground you for life because you were late. So a lot of teens say, I've just been grounded and there's so many punishments, I give up. I'm not doing anything you want. So we have to make it reasonable, and we have to include the teen. Now, Maria, there's some times when the teen says, I'm not going to do any of this, I'm just not. And then we have to say, well, then I guess you don't want any input in this, but here's what's going to happen. It's my job as your parent to keep you safe and to help you make good decisions. You may not like it, but I love you, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I had a situation recently where I was told by one of my teenagers, you went through my room and that's my safe zone. And I had to say to him, hey, you know what? I'm sorry, but it's your safe zone until I feel like you're unsafe. And, you know, it's my job to keep you safe. So many awesome topics that we could talk about. I want to just really quickly, we're going to have you back because we're out of time. I want to let everyone know the book is Let's Make a Contract, Getting Your Teen Through High School and Beyond. And there's 2 books in the series. And do you have a website real quickly before we have to say goodbye?
I do. It's LetsMakeAContract.com.
Okay, well, we'll put it on Mom Talk Radio, and I'll make a contract with you that we'll have you back. So thank you so much for your words of wisdom. And when we return, we're going to be talking with Lori Wolk. She's the author of Girls Just Want to Have Likes, How to Raise Confident Girls in the Face of Social Media Madness.
This is Mom Talk Radio.